Okay, so we have an Arctic outbreak coming in later next week. Not this week, actually the following week. We're going to have an Arctic outbreak coming in. So let's look at the 500 millibar heights temperatures. So here are your contours right here. Here are your heights right here. Here are your temperatures. Basically 20,000 feet. So these are your atmospheric heights. So right here, you're having these heights at 5,700 meters, while here it's 52. So you're having about a 500 meter difference in height. So basically, height is basically where you have atmospheric pressure, basically air pressure at a certain height. So also very cold here, yet down here it's relatively warm. Doesn't look like a big difference, but it is. This is an enormous difference. Normally in the summer, this is what the temperature would normally be like in the Northeast. And sometimes like this, usually if you're in the middle of summer and you're having these type of temperatures, or even this, you would have severe weather and hail. This in the summer is unheard of. I mean, you could get this in May, and that usually would mean snow in rare cases, like what happened in 2020, May 8th, when New York City got snow in grapple. It's pretty intense, especially what happened in the Bronx. They had some pretty intense grapple, which is basically snow pellets or small hail, because it was convective. But let's look at what's going to happen. Here's that Arctic outbreak. I mean, this is nothing unheard of. I mean, this has happened back in 2014. We actually had a similar outbreak in November, caused the third coldest Thanksgiving ever in New York City. So basically what caused it was you had a positive PNA, and then you had a typhoon that went into Japan, went off the coast of Japan into the northern latitudes, and that actually caused the polar vortex to basically collapse. It disrupted the polar vortex and made the PNA go even more positive. So this is right now the Arctic Oscillation is negative, which is why we're having this dip in the jet stream here. And as the NAO will continue to be negative for the next next week or so, you're going to have this Arctic outbreak, but then this basically signals it's flipping back to positive. Here's the positive PNA setting up now. This looks very reminiscent of what happened in the winter of 2014-2015. The only difference with this winter is you don't have that warm blob off of southeast Alaska. Let's look at SST anomalies right now. Yeah, you don't have that warm blob. In fact, you actually have a cold anomaly. Very warm anomaly here, so it's very warm here, but cold? I mean, there's a little warm, like very little right along the coast. Very insignificant. This is what much looks like what I would call a negative PDO or a cold phase of the PDO. Also, look at that right there. Very intense. Haven't seen this in a while, but there's a little blob of very cold waters. Yeah, this La Nina looks to be pretty intense, actually. This is one of the most intense La Ninas I've actually seen in quite some time. I mean, this is about the strongest La Nina actually in the last 10 years. This is the strongest La Nina since the last strong one we had back in 2010, 2011. But, of course, that one was even stronger. You didn't have all this warm water here. Again, the oceans are warming overall. Compared to what the ocean is now compared to 10 years ago. And 10 years ago, the Atlantic was also in its warm phase, like we are right now. And the Pacific was in the similar phase. But the thing is, the ocean is much warmer. So every cycle, which usually happens, so you have a warm PDO, cool PDO, warm PDO. So right now we're in the cool PDO. The last time we had a cool PDO, it was much colder. So now, basically, the Pacific is much warmer than normal. Even with the La Nina. I mean, I'm not saying warmer than normal, but warmer than what it should be for a cold PDO. This does not look like a very cold PDO. I mean, look at all this warm water here. I mean, look at all this warm water here. The little blotches of cold, but look at this. Just check this out. Look at the loop current here. I mean, look at this. It almost looks like that. It literally looks like. It almost looks like a bow tie right here. Look at that. It looks like a bow tie. Or like an infinity sign. It almost looks like an infinity sign of warm water here. Isn't that something? That's actually your loop current, basically. Here's your loop current. That's what usually hurricanes feed off right there. Here's your Gulf Stream anomaly. And it's really strong because, you know, the Gulf Stream is weaker than normal, so it's forcing all this warm water to basically just stagnate here and concentrate in one area, which is why the Gulf Stream is so much warmer than normal. And look at the entire Atlantic just being really warm. This is because of the warm phase again. And also, that's because of melting right there. Let's look at National Snow Ice Data Center right now. We're just running behind normal because of what's going on in Hudson Bay. And you want to know why we're running behind normal? This is why. You're going to need a lot of Arctic air to go over Hudson Bay. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Hopefully this Arctic outbreak that's going to come in is going to reinforce the cold air, and that's going to help Arctic sea ice rebound in Hudson Bay. Because for the foreseeable future, it does not look good for at least until maybe the first week of December, and then it's finally going to, the cold dam is finally going to unleash. And hopefully that will help sea ice rebound in Hudson Bay. So here's basically Hudson Bay is basically open water. Almost all of it's open water right now. And then you're going to have that Arctic outbreak that's going to come in the first week of December, and bam. You're going to almost see a swirl here. That's basically your polar vortex. You want to see what a polar vortex looks like? Looks kind of disrupted right now. Here's your polar vortex. Very strong polar vortex. Normally, when you have a very strong polar vortex, it keeps all of the Arctic air in the Arctic where it should be. But when it disrupts, like where it is right now, see, it's not very congealed. It's kind of dispersed, and mostly in Siberia right now. Okay. Right, look at this. So, see how it's basically dispersed, very dispersed, and it's kind of not congealed, hence a negative Arctic Oscillation, negative AO. And this strengthening of the polar vortex is what I like to call a positive AO. And if you want to see what a positive AO looks like, there's negative, going back to positive. This is a moderately negative AO. This is not a very strong negative AO, just a negative 1.2. Because it's going to go up, then it's going to go down a little, and then it's going to shoot up, and then it might just become more zonal. Some models are saying it's going to become even more positive. Most are saying it's going to go up, and then it's going to go down and become neutral. Only one is saying it's going to go negative. I would not go with that one outline model. You wouldn't want to go with the mean. So it looks like this is what's most likely to happen. And then from there, it's probably going to end up being a positive 1. So around, this is 1st of December. And, you know, this is not a guarantee. This is what is most likely to happen. So I think it's going to be somewhere over here, about 1.5, around December 10th. So it's November 26th now, so I think it's going to do something like this. And then eventually it's going to go back down to being negative. Why I'm thinking it's going to go down to being negative again is because of your lack of sea ice in the eastern Atlantic Basin. You're having a lot of warm water in Hudson Bay and Labrador, and that supports blocking. It just does. It supports major blocking. This is why the NAO is trying to be negative. Like, even though the AO is going to shoot up all the way to positive, your NAO, the NAO is going to be more neutral. It's going to go positive, but not by much. This winter is going to be dominated by primarily negative NAOs. And if the NAO goes negative enough, you're also going to drag down your Arctic Oscillation. And also your PNA is another factor. So right now your PNA is positive. But what factors the PNA is usually the PDO, which right now is in its cool phase, which normally favors a negative a PNA. Yeah, it favors a negative PNA. But we're in a La Nina, which kind of favors neutral to positive PNA. Actually, La Ninas actually favor negative PNA. La Ninas normally favor heavy rains in the Pacific Northwest and California. The only times you get rain during El Niños in California is from the Pacific, the atmospheric river. It used to be called the Pineapple Express. Why was it called that? Well, because it originated in Hawaii from the Kona Low, and Hawaii is known for growing pineapples. So they coined it the Pineapple Express because it would bring lots of moisture from the tropics, from around Hawaii, and channel it right into California. So the atmospheric river is what meteorologically used to be called the Pineapple Express. It still is. And no, I'm not referring to that movie. I've never actually seen it. Yeah, I'm not talking about the film. See? Pineapple Express weather. This is what I'm talking about. It's a non-technical term. But the correct term is a atmospheric river, or a subtropical jet stream going into California. This is what it is. You have a very strong polar jet stream combining with the subtropical jet stream, channeling all this moisture into California. That's what normally happens during an El Nino. It can happen in La Nina, like we're getting right now, but it's not normal, because during an La Nina, you normally, that Aleutian low that usually sits up here is a little further. It's basically further west, and you get more troughiness on the west coast and ridging on the east during La Ninas. However, there's a kicker. Why do a lot of snowstorms in New York City happen during La Ninas when you're supposed to be having ridging? The answer is blocking. A lot of times when you have La Ninas, you also end up having a warmer Atlantic Ocean, which favors blocking. If you're having a cool Pacific and a cool Atlantic, you're actually going to get warmer weather in New York, because a cooler Atlantic will mean less blocking, which will mean more ridging on the East Coast. That is why the winter of 2011-2012 was so darn warm. You didn't have all this warm water sitting in Labrador, which allowed for the winter in 2010-2011 to be so cold and snowy because you had a lot of blocking. But next winter, similar pattern. However, Labrador was a lot colder. So you didn't have all that warm water sitting in Labrador. It was still a little warmer than normal, but not by much. The Atlantic was mostly... Let me show you what I'm talking about. So this is 2010. Let's look around same time in November. See? Very warm water here. So you had, you had your La Nina combined with a cold PDO. You had a negative PDO. It's a little different this year, just a little. See? Let's look at the difference right here. Ready. Let's look at the difference right here. See? Very warm here. Cold here, but warm here. Whereas it was just a little bit warm here. Just this area here. But also, look, you had some of this cold extending into the Atlantic. This year, no. It's all warm. Look at that. Look at all this warm water here. But there's a difference. It was warm here, cool here. This year, it's warm here, warm here. So it's a little different. It looks like the warm water has actually settled a little further south, which means this blocking high could actually end up being further south. You might actually have blocking patterns that will develop right over Quebec instead of Greenland. So a normal Greenland block that would normally send the storms like this might actually allow for even stronger blocking later this winter. You also might have high pressure systems forming right over, just north of New England, which would allow for snowstorms that will try to come up the East Coast. So this January and February will be very cold and snowy for the Mid-Atlantic region. The Mid-Atlantic this year is going to get bombarded with snowstorms. Bombarded. Why? So here's the thing. You're going to have a troughiness, right, on the West Coast, but also you're going to have this blocking, which will allow for basically storms to just go zip, zip. Basically, set up similar to the winter of 2009-2010. Similar. And why was it? Why did we have so much blocking that winter? Again, let's go back to November 26th. See that right here? That's actually part of the reason. This actually allowed for storms to basically go into the East Coast. Winter of 2009-2010. You had a little warm here, so you had an El Nino also, but you did have blocking patterns. You had very negative NAO. Even though the waters were not very warm here, look what happened in early 2010. Let's look around January when all these storms happened. Look what was going on. So you had cold. This is because of all the cold storm. All the cold that was funneling off the coast. This is from all the just storms affecting the East Coast, and from all the storms and from all the cold coming off the land. But look what you had here. You had El Nino, so this kind of skewed the weather a little bit. Why was the winter of 2011-2012 so warm? Again, Atlantic, Pacific cold, Atlantic, especially Northeast, very cold. So you had an opposite. So what am I thinking this winter? It's going to be very cold and snowy from about the middle to end of December. So basically January, cold and snowy. December, from about the end of December, I would say from about the second week of December on, it's going to get very cold and snowy. Already, we are having an Arctic outbreak. However, I'm thinking this January is going to be the worst month. Not so much December. I'm thinking once we get after New Year's, all hell is going to break loose, and it's going to get very cold and snowy. All this cold air that is being currently trapped in the Arctic, the dam is going to break. It's going to have to break because, look, again, very warm water here. And then all this cold air that's just sitting over northern Canada is just going to flood down. You're going to have all this cold air over Alaska just filtering in. This is most likely going to happen sometime towards the end of December, beginning of January. I don't think this December for New York is going to be that cold and snowy, but January and February, it's going to be very cold and snowy. I'm not thinking anything like 2014, 2015, but I'm thinking more like 2012, 2013. So 2012, 2013, you had that rare November snowstorm, again, because of that very negative NAO. Same pattern that actually let Sandy come into the East Coast. Same pattern basically allowed for nor'easter to form right along the coast, very cold air to filter in, and a surprise snowstorm hit New York City. It was expected for inland locations, but not for New York City. And some of the areas that were actually supposed to get no snow because they were right along the water got the most. Long Island, my area in Queens Village, got a foot of snow. A foot. Like, we were only under winter weather advisory once the snow started falling like crazy. Just even when there was already an inch or two on the ground, there was no advisories. I literally had to call the National Weather Service and tell them I have several inches on the ground, and only then they issued a winter weather advisory. They never upgraded it to a warning. Queens, like Nassau and Queens, was well within winter storm warning criteria. We had a foot of snow. Of course, you had the urban heat island effect in Manhattan, so that really cut down on the total. Central Park only got like 4.5 inches of snow. Also, they probably didn't get in that band that enhanced the snowfall and led to more cooling. It did actually break some records. But yeah, like Queens Village was thumped on. Like, I'm not even kidding. It was a foot. It was like this very narrow area from eastern Queens into parts of Nassau County that got like a foot of snow. If I can look back in the records, 2012 and November snowstorm and why? No. Yeah, 2 inches of snow and 3.5. Yeah, I got a foot in Queens Village. Actually, I was very close to getting 13. But no, it was around 12 inches in Queens Village. Like, I was absolutely shocked. I had a video of it, but unfortunately, my YouTube channel got terminated, so yeah. I had some really good footage of that snowstorm, but that other channel got terminated. I lost a lot of good history. Now I have to... There was a little bit of thunder and lightning. I don't think there was any significant thunder and lightning, but I saw a few flashes, I think. But that could have just been from like a truck passing by, but I did hear some rumbling. It could have been thunder. Yeah, just from Athena. Yeah. There we go. Yeah. 6 inches? Really? I got a foot. Like, I seriously got a foot of snow. Like, yeah, you see some of those pinkish reports? Like that, those pinker colors? Yeah, those are higher reports. Looks like this one area just got thumped on. I don't know how it happened. It just happened to be right where I was. It was just crazy. Yeah, I was in the grass, but it was incredible. I actually had a video, and my ruler was completely covered. The snow was up to the end of the ruler. It was incredible. It was insane how much snow came down in Queens, in eastern Queens. It was crazy. I mean, my area was perfect for more accurate snowfall. There was very little concrete other than the road and the sidewalk. You had a lot of grassy area. And also some of the heaviest precip came in right into New York City. And also nighttime temperatures before the storm came in on the evening of the 7th. Actually, the storm was on the 7th. So the 6th going into the 7th, temperatures dropped into the mid-30s that night. The night before the storm. Forecast low was around 37, but I was outside in Queens Village. It was 32 degrees, 5 degrees colder than expected. So that there was more cold air than forecast, and there you have it. Look at that, 12, 13 inch amount right here. See that right here? Yeah. Freehold, look at that. Freehold Township got 13 inches of snow. Yeah, you see how you have this crazy amount right here? Yeah, I got one isolated 13-inch amount. Looks like this band set up right in this area. It looks like Yeah, looks like there was this one band that just set up right along the coast. It was probably the coastal front. You had all this warm air and all this cold upper level air combining with dynamic cooling that just created this perfect storm. Right in eastern Queens, going right down into basically just Freehold and Jackson, New Jersey. I would say I got about a foot, so I'm not sure why they're not showing this here. But my report was legitimate. Even on the sidewalk, it was like over 7 inches on the sidewalk, which was melting well before, even when the grass had like 3 inches, sidewalk was still mostly just slush. And when it finally was coming down heavy enough and the temperature actually briefly went below freezing, about 31 degrees, and yeah, it was a heavy wet snow, but it wasn't like glop. Like on the grass, like the snow actually was perfect snowball snow, which was incredible. And after the snow ended, the temperatures actually went up a little bit, about low 30s. It actually sleeted. There was actually this outer band that was coming through. I thought it was going to be heavy snow, but it was actually sleet. The storm was actually producing its own cold air, and on the backside there was this back band that was coming in. And actually, what I thought was going to be just another burst of heavy snow was actually sleet, because the cold air that was produced by the snow was actually diminishing. It was crazy. It's about like 2 a.m. in the morning when that last band came through, and it actually was sleeting. It was like crazy. I mean, if that was all snow, it probably would have only gave us another half an inch of snow instead of sleet. It was kind of a mix of snow and sleet when that last band came through. Yeah, so now I'm going to talk about why, this is why I'm thinking this January is going to be so cold and snowy. Again, going back on topic again, looking at the ocean temperatures, it definitely looks conducive for a very snowy winter, especially what I'm seeing here. But we are getting different signals from what is normally seen. Everything is more amplified. All the warming all over the world is more amplified. So, yeah, this La Nina is more stronger. This is 2011, by the way. Okay. So, same time, basically. So, all the warming is much more amplified, especially here. You know what I mean? Look at those reds. Like, that's not even... So, keep in mind, anything above 2 is orange, right? So, very little orange. A little orange here, so about 2 to 2.5, right? Here, orange and red, right? So, anything above 2 is supposed to be this color, right? That looks like some 3s, even almost 4. Yeah, we were not seeing any of those temperatures. Everything is definitely a little warmer. So right here, trying to see if the legend's about the same. So 2, orange. Yeah, about the same. Oops. A burgundy color here. Here's a little more blocky, so here's 1/2 degree increments. Here it's a little bit more gradual. But yeah, it looks like looks pretty accurate. That is definitely like some 2s and 3s here. Even an isolated 4 amount here. Oh, that's 5. That's a 5 amount there. 5. Yeah. So very strong warm anomalies. Let's look at current global temperatures. And let's look at October 2021. Of course, you're going to have Dr. Ray Spencer show his chart, which he had to update a little bit. And look at that. Boom! Bouncing right back up. Yep, look at that. Thinking it's going to get cooler, and then boing. Yep, so much for global cooling, or, oh, global warming being a hoax. Nope. I don't see global warming being a hoax. And by the way, he actually updated this. Yeah, so this has actually been updated. Because none of this was below, right? It was like hardly below. This was not below at all. In fact, in the last update, this was like here. He had to increase it by like 0.2 degrees. And let's go to January, right? January. And let's go to January, right? I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Oops. Oh, come on. And I think he updates it. Right here. Look at that. We have changed the 30-year averaging period. Right? We have changed the 30-year averaging period from the 1991 to 2020, from the old period of 1981 to 2010. This change does not affect the temperature trends. See? Here's what I'm talking about, see? So December was about 0.11 degrees warmer, according to this new chart, right? Yet, when you look at December 2020, it's going to show much warmer, right? See? Right there. See what I'm talking about? See, the temperature increased. The average increased. By how much? So see, right here it was above 0.10, and now it's about here. It looks like a 0.12 degree increase, right? Right here, 2019, right here, right? And then October 2021, right? And all of a sudden, what was right here is now here, negative 0.01. So a big decrease in temperature, for that average. So now we're 0.37, right? So yeah, that would have been like about here, about 0.5. So yeah, temperatures are definitely going up. There's no cooling going on. So let's draw this line. It's just showing increase. And also, I'm very concerned about California. Let's look at total precipitation. And this is going out 2 weeks, right? It's actually going out to 384. This is going out basically 15 days. Yeah, this is going out 15 days, guys. 15 days. Well, actually 16 days to be exact, but yeah. Look at this. Nothing. Literally nothing for California. Look at this. 0. And let's look at the drought monitor right now. This is just awful. I mean, look at this. Even with all the rain they had before, not all the rain, but, that much needed rain they had, it wasn't enough, and there's still an exceptional drought. Look at all this exceptional drought here. Of course, the reason this area is not an exceptional drought is because This area is a desert and it's not supposed to get much rain at all, so this is normal for them. But look at Central California, my God. Lake Mead is still running well below normal. Like Lake Mead's water level is well below normal. It's well what it should be, and well below the previous record. I mean, look at this. Look where we are. You know, it's still going down. It's still going down, guys. Yeah, you want to know the old record? What the old record used to be? Yeah. It's going down into the winter season. This is not supposed to be happening. This is just awful. It's decreasing. Like, it's going down. The only thing that helped it a little bit was, the monsoon. It actually helped it go up a little bit right about here. That's your monsoonal rains here. And then a little storm that came in. And then boom, it's going down. We're actually lower than where we were in the summer. It's supposed to be increasing right now. It's literally supposed to be increasing, and we're just going down. Oh my God. There's almost no water left in Lake Mead right now. Below full pool of 1,229. There's only 163 feet of water left. Unbelievable. Level's 163.72 feet. Or that's a mean sea level. Jesus Christ. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. This is the worst year ever for Lake Mead. It's just awful. Yeah, let's go on the news right now. Let's look at what they're talking about on the news. Oh my God. Wow. Okay, I'm searching for drought, so. It's just horrible. Rainy fall, but look, Idaho's still in a drought. Look at this. Idaho is still in a drought, even with a rainy fall, so yeah. I really hope that pattern switches. I really, really hope that January, February, March are going to be really rainy for California. But the problem is this is a La Nina, which historically has always been dry for California because, yeah, this is why. It brings a lot of rain to the northwest, but not much to California. Also, the PNA right now is positive, so once it goes negative, you might get a shot of some rain in California. So, does not look good. Also, let's look at La Palma right now. It's still erupting. New event reported south of the main. Wow. Just when it looks like, the volcano's subsiding, new vent. Yeah. Okay, that's Daily Express. They're always sensationalizing everything. Yeah, you can't. They always sensationalize everything. The Yellowstone, super eruptions, La Palma tsunami. They just sensationalize everything. Plus, they are very politically to the right wing, so yeah. They're kind of like the more extreme of Fox News. But lately, they haven't been as bad as they used to be because, yeah, they got a lot of criticism. Everyone's been, like, talking about them, so they're like... Volcanic eruption is now the longest seen on the island in 375 years. Mm-hmm. I mean, the tremors are dropping. There is a slight decrease in tremor activity, which signals that the eruption could be trying to, eventually end. I think it's going to end within the next month or so. Next few weeks, it should probably end because the lava output has been decreasing. I'm going to be talking about Iwo Jima, or Iwoto, as it's known now in Japan. Iwoto Island is actually a volcano. Yeah, actually, this eruption is not from Iwoto. It's actually from a nearby island that's not related to Iwoto. It's related to the same plate subduction, but they don't have a magma. They do not share a magma chamber. In fact, that's the island that produced it. Nope, not even. It's not even South Iwo Jima. It's actually trying to find that island. I think that could be it. Yeah, it must be this one. Nope, it's not even North Iwo Jima. It's not that one. Because it's part of a... There we go. This is what I want to look at. No. That volcano is actually this one right here, I believe. Nope. I think that's the one. There is the eye. Nope. There we go. Layers. I think that's the one. That's the one that's producing it. So it's quite a distance. That's the new volcanic island. I don't know if that's the one, but. Yeah, it's very likely that island that you're seeing is actually pumice. It's probably gonna weather away within a few months, unless the lava could actually reach the surface. Okay, let's see. There we go. So this is your caldera right here. Let's look at the layers, right? the Urojima Caldera. Oh my god, it's even uplifting here. Wow. Okay, so your Iwo Caldera is basically this whole area is one big caldera. No. Ocean. No, it's Iwo Jima Caldera. There is Iwo Jima. No, that's Kikai. This is not this is not Iwo Jima that one we're used to. This is not. No, this is the caldera that. No, that's Kikai Caldera. Yoto. Yeah, they're basically talking about tsunami dangers or distance. The new decade. The new decade volcano prime number 1. Yep. Campi Flegrei and Apoyeki. I've never heard of this one volcano. Apoyeki. I think that's in South America, I believe. Yep. Nicaragua. Pyroclastic shield. Last eruption 50 BC. Wow, that is a long time ago. Yeah. So this definitely has potential. Looks like this used to be a mountain. You could actually see what looks like outlets. This used to be a mountain. You could actually see look like the outflow channels. Yeah, this definitely used to be used to be a stratovolcano here. Yeah, your mountain is entirely gone. So basically there's what used to be your mountain right here. Probably another caldera here, but this was your main summit here. World's 10 most dangerous volcano. In number 1 spot. Wow. Huh. Look at this. Urojima named as the most dangerous volcano on Earth. Makes perfect sense. It's a resurgent dome. The entire volcano is one resurgent dome. Yes, whole island could explode. That is correct. Let me show you one thing about Iwo. This is your old cone, right? Oh, do you know how all this formed? Not from volcanic eruptions, from uplift. Just 500,000 years ago, this was all underwater. And this didn't lift up through... You know when James Cook came here just 300 years ago? This is basically the entire island. This is basically all of it. You know where the Marines landed in 1944? Oh, they didn't land here. They landed here. And yeah, you heard about those ghost ships that just a few years ago were on the water and now they're on land? Yeah. Let's go to that video. Iwo Jima Geology Hub. I just want to show you a video that he talked about. Ghost ships. Ghost ships. I was actually the one who actually told him about it. Yeah, I was actually kind of like...
On MyHeritage, you can build your family tree and make amazing discoveries about your family history. Really.
I also told him about the pumice raft.
48 volcanoes which are actively erupting. These include volcanoes such as Yasur in Vanuatu, Abaco in Russia, Semi-Sopochnoi in Alaska, and La Palma in the Spanish Canary Islands.
I kind of was the one who... Geology Hub. I think I was the one who did that. It was like a month ago, I think. It was about 1 month ago, right? To find it. Can't find it. It was... It's weird. Play all. So 1 month. Okay, let's see. Maybe I'm missing something. No. Appearing. Yeah, it looks like I'm missing something. Yeah. One month ago, right? Oh, 3 weeks ago. Oh, great. So it was 3 weeks ago. Done. 3 weeks, 3 weeks, 3 weeks, 3 weeks. 2 weeks, 2 weeks. Looks like it's supposed to... Again, it's supposed to be... So I am missing it. Yeah, it was... I think I mentioned it here.
Hey, you know what's better than a $5,000 PC?
What?
A $5,000 PC that costs $0. It's time to give you free stuff thanks to our friends at Honey. That's right, you could win a $5,000 $1,000 computer just by adding Honey to your browser right now at joinhoney.com/LinusGiveaway. And it's the gift that keeps on giving, because when you're shopping online, Honey automatically searches millions of promo codes and drops the best one it finds into your cart. Yep, that's it. You can save money by doing nearly nothing. No more manually hunting for promo codes. Plus, it works on tons of your favorite sites. You know, the places you already shop. So this PC has a 3080 Ti in it. You know how much one of those costs right now? Trick question, because you don't need to know. Joinhoney.com/.
One of the most visited active volcanoes in Canada is Mount Garibaldi due to its proximity to Vancouver. Inches in only 24 hours. If I was to see this at a volcano in the United States, I would be worried. However,
here's what I wanted to show you.
Islands. Here are a few of this week's major volcano-related news stories. In Japan, pumice from a recent island-forming eruption has begun washing up on beaches and in ports, causing damage to several boats. Also in Japan, a series of sunk World War II-era ghost ships have turned up high on the beaches of Iwo Jima. The culprit? Extreme volcanic uplift. Meanwhile in Hawaii, the Kilauea volcano has now been continuously erupting for 1 month, and we now know how much lava has erupted so far. Now for our top story, the ongoing eruption of the Kumbri Vieja volcano on the island of La Palma. The first eruption on the island of La Palma in 50 years has now entered its 43rd day. So far, Strombolian-style eruptive activity, that is, intermittent ejection of bombs of lava with occasional ash emissions, has output a total of 120 million cubic meters of lava. In recent days, lava has increasingly expanded towards the south of existing flows via rivers of molten rock, destroying additional structures. As the total number of destroyed homes approaches 2,800, the overall damage from the eruption now tops €1 billion. This takes into account direct damage, lost revenue, and air traffic disruption. In all matter of scales, this eruption is most definitely larger than historical eruptions on the island and is likely to continue for 4 to 8 more weeks at a minimum. On the famous island of Iwo Jima, strange and eerie footage perfect for Halloween was broadcast showing dozens of ghost ships, that is, ships without a crew, seemingly emplaced high on the beach of the overall island. Although there was speculation that these shipwrecks were in fact Japanese warships sunk in battle, this is not the case. Rather, these ships are transports which were sunk immediately after the 1945 Battle of Iwo Jima in an attempt to artificially build a makeshift port for American troops. As for why they are emplaced high on the beach, far above high tide, it relates to the entirety of Iwo Jima being a volcanic feature known as a resurgent dome. In 850 BC, a large explosive eruption completely destroyed a large section of the ancient Iwo Jima island, causing it to sink into the ocean. In the more than 2,800 years since, lava has slowly crept back into the empty space of the existing magma chamber, which has pushed the island upwards. The same uplift continues at an impressive rate today, as the shoreline Marines landed on in World War II is now 17 meters or 56 feet above sea level. Thus, wrecked ships which were up to 17 meters below the 1945 shoreline are now far above sea level. Across much of Okinawa and southern Kyushu in Japan, large amounts of pumice have begun washing up across numerous beaches and more than 17 meters below the 1945 shoreline and now far above sea level. Thus, wrecked ships which are up to 17 meters below the 1945 shoreline and now far above sea level. Across much of Okinawa and southern Kyushu in Japan, wrecked ships which are up to 17 meters below the 1945 shoreline and now far above sea level. Across much of Okinawa and southern Kyushu in Japan, large amounts of pumice have begun washing up across numerous beaches and more than 30 ports. This pumice has caused damage to more than 40 boats, even creating situations where some small boats are unable to move as they are surrounded in this light volcanic rock. This pumice originated from the several-week-long eruption in August of the then submarine volcano Fukutoku Okanoba, which formed a brand new island. In the 2.5 months since, a large grouping of this buoyant material, termed a pumice raft, has drifted to the west and northwest, traveling more than 1,300 kilometers. The pumice from this eruption will continue to wash up on several shorelines in the upcoming weeks to months due to residual ocean currents. At Kilauea in Hawaii, the volcano's newest eruption has just surpassed 1 month in length. This eruption has been completely confined to the summit caldera and is not at risk of damaging any structures. Since the eruption began on September 29th, a single vent has output 6.1 billion gallons of molten rock, totaling 23.2 million cubic meters.
Just want to show you again.
Thus, wrecked ships.
See? Look at that. Look how far in the water they were.
Which are up to 17 meters below the 1945 shoreline and now far above sea level. Across much of Okinawa and southern Kyushu in Japan, large amounts of pumice have begun washing up across numerous beaches and more than 30 ports. This pumice has caused damage to more than 40 boats, even creating situations where some small boats are unable to move as they are surrounded in this light volcanic rock. This pumice originated from the several-week-long eruption in August of the then submarine volcano Fukutoku Okanoba, which formed a brand new island. In the 2.5 months since, a large grouping of this buoyant material, termed a pumice raft, has drifted to the west and northwest, traveling more than 1,300 kilometers.
See?
The pumice from this eruption will continue to wash up on several shorelines in the upcoming weeks to months due to residual ocean currents. At Kilauea in Hawaii, the volcano's newest eruption has just surpassed 1 month in length. This eruption has been completely confined to the summit caldera and is not at risk of damaging any structures. Since the eruption began on September 29th, a single vent has output 6.1 billion gallons of molten rock, totaling 23.2 million cubic meters of material. This means that lava has been erupting at an average rate of just under 9 cubic meters per second, thus representing low-intensity eruptive activity. This volume of lava has caused the overall lava lake to rise by 161 feet or 49 meters, meaning that lava can be directly observed from public national park outlooks surrounding the volcano. Here's a quick list of every volcano which is currently erupting. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you'd like to request a specific topic, please leave a comment below. Additionally, if you wish to support this channel, consider becoming a patron on Patreon.
Hello, Discover Card here to explain our cashback match. We match all of the cashback you earn at the end of your first year, automatically. It's that simple. Discover. Exceptionally common sense. Learn more at discover.com/match. Limitations apply.
The North Apennines, Italy. Here, in the mountains just outside Florence, a young Leonardo da Vinci spent much of his time examining the mysteries of nature. Because his parents were not married, he was excluded from the prestigious academies attended by many of his contemporaries.
In Florence, the Platonic Academy is reformed and this Institute of Learning comes about. Now we know that Leonardo da Vinci is not allowed to enter this academy.
What?
This is a young man who's pretty much left on his own in some ways for up to 19 years, traveling around the countryside. He was looking at rocks, he was studying birds, he was looking at the flow of water, he was studying mountains. He was literally immersed in nature. No other artists in the Renaissance really showed that much interest in the natural world and the surrounding world.
He strives for knowledge, he strives for information. He is able to create a body of knowledge which is on par with the body of information which the Platonic Academy, as a group of beings, is able to put out.
It was also in the North Apennine Mountains that Leonardo is believed to have discovered the cave that he wrote about in his journal.
Yeah, fringe stuff. History Channel.
The story of the cave, it's very likely that it happened around 1480, since it appears that that's the moment at which this is written in the Codex. The fact that Leonardo chooses to record this encounter with the cave, I think indicates that it had a significant impact on the artist psychologically.
But although the exact location of the cave and the date Leonardo discovered it remains unknown, there are many who believe that it may provide the key to understanding the source of the artist's incredible genius and the answer to the mystery of what happened to him during his missing 2 years.
He goes inside the cave, then he disappears. And it suggests to me time travel portals. He's opening portals or stargates and beaming to either the past or the future, and then returning to the present time.
In history, you have certain people, like Leonardo da Vinci, whose genius is just so incredible, and the visions that they have. And in many ways, it's like they're able to see the future. And they're not going to just influence the world then, but what they're going to do is going to dramatically change the world forever. And you have to wonder where people get this kind of inspiration. And in the case of Leonardo, he was able to see things and invent them, in a sense, things that we weren't going to have for hundreds of years.
Is it really possible that Leonardo da Vinci may have obtained his incredible creative and scientific knowledge as the direct result of an extraterrestrial encounter? Or might Leonardo have fallen through a time portal, one which allowed him to actually visit the future? A future where robots, helicopters, military weapons, and other amazing machines actually existed, and which the artist would later try to duplicate. Actually existed, and which the artist would later try to duplicate. Some ancient astronaut theorists believe the answer can be traced back to work he did on the Annunciation and the significance of his so-called disappearing angel.
Leonardo and Verrocchio's Annunciation portrays the moment at which the angel Gabriel has arrived and is telling the Virgin Mary that she's pregnant with the Son of God.
What some scholars have speculated is that by painting the angel in the Annunciation so that it disappears under X-ray, he is telling us that, like Gabriel, he is the messenger. And then, with his next painting, we're told that this great gift to mankind has arrived. And Leonardo da Vinci's contributions to mankind are truly a gift to the world.
You have to wonder if Leonardo wasn't doing this because he was being encouraged in secret by some kind of extraterrestrial masters who were somehow behind him.
Yeah, I don't know why I got this fringe stuff.
As of October 31st, 2021, there
are... Anyway, drought, snowstorm. Okay, let's just close all this out. And I'm going to talk about the storms again, the winter forecast. So, I'm going to look at the European model right now, which should just be coming out right now. It's not going to show anything significant. No real changes expected. So yeah, here's... Because compared to last night, actually, compared to 2 nights ago, looked much more vigorous. I mean, look at this. You had a pretty steep amplification here. And it was... Here it does not look steep. I mean, look at this. It looks very zonal. It looks different, so yeah. Even then, it didn't look that impressive. But now, if you compare it to now, it's just completely... Not, like, we're not getting much of anything from this. Unfortunately. And this is too far out, so it's like... I mean, we might get a storm. It looks like the Europeans trying to say, hey, we might get something. Oh, wow, look at that. That looks like a potential storm, but something's telling me it's going to be trying to travel up. So let me go to pivotal weather right now. I'm going to have to log in. Okay, there we go. European high resolution. Let's go this run. 216 and then 240, right? It almost looks like the storm actually is going eastward, but look at that, see? It's saying, oh look, it looks like it's going eastward, but not so fast, right? See? Center, look, it's going northeast, right? It's going northeast. So what's really going on, storm is actually going northeast. It's just that it's consolidating itself. It's just that where it's consolidating itself. So what it's basically doing is, look, so it is traveling northeast, right? Right? Let's look at precipitation type and rate. So you have this very strong amplification. I mean, look at this storm. Damn, I mean, look at this. This is going to bring snow. And then you're having this very strong, like... I mean, this is insane. You see how deep this trough is? Just, it's crazy deep. And of course the storm is going to go north. It's probably then just going to go shoot up north. Why it's going to shoot northward? Look at that 558 line, right? Very warm air, right? And then, boom, it's shooting north. So basically what you're getting here is you're trying to get a cutoff low here. This thing is trying to cut off. Right? This thing is absolutely trying to cut off. Okay, let's go to 192. So let's look here. So let's look here. Some rain. Yeah, looks like it's going to be rain, fortunately. Because here's the thing, right? Again, very strong Arctic outbreak, right? And of course you're going to have... But the only difference is... Huge difference between here and here. I mean, look at this. Boom and boom, right? You're going to have this coastal low developing, right? So, 490, I mean, really strong. That is a crazy strong polar vortex that's trying to come down. I mean, that's even more intense than what the GFS had. That's actually way more intense. If this is true, we're going to have an almighty Arctic blast. Wow. Look at tropical tidbits now. Looks like 216 already loaded. Wow, right along the coast. That actually could be a snowstorm trying to develop. Look at thermodynamics. Could be snow towards the very end. It could be some snow because look. Because as you're going to have this really strong storm, you're going to have an amplification right along the coast and then bam. If this actually happens, oh my god. Wow. Just wow. Oh my god. Woo! That is impressive. That's only 5,000 feet, and you're looking at temperatures about 25 degrees below 0 centigrade. I mean, not like record-breaking cold, but very intense for this time of year. Nevertheless. Looks like New York City, and then bam. And look what happens. 2 meter temperatures, right? Yeah, this is all going to be snow here. Has to be. Yeah, this is going to be much colder. 62 degrees in New York City, right? And then why is it showing it right along the Carolinas coast? Okay, what is a little confusing is... Okay, this is what's a little confusing. It's showing it almost being over North Carolina. It's like showing that the storm is almost moving south. That's because this Arctic air, it's the low pressure system actually wants to form here, so it's kind of going to back build itself. It's kind of going to... I mean, look how deep this trough is. See? Right here. Boom. You see how it's back building? Yeah. Right here, just want to show you. 6 hours. This could be a major storm, potentially. Look at this Arctic outbreak. Wow. 5... Yeah, this is incredible. Like, that is impressive. I mean, not even the GFS is showing that impressive. I mean, jeez. This is one hell of an outbreak. Wow. Jeez. Yeah, that... thing is, the Euro is showing... I mean, the GFS is showing a stronger outbreak, but it's faster. Bam. Let's see. 4980. 4980, 4980. Actually, the GFS is actually stronger. My bad. My bad. GFS is actually stronger. 987! Come on, just go a little further east. Oh, man. Yeah, look at that. Thunderstorms. That's some thunderstorms here. Temperatures looks like New York City at this point in time. Say low 60s, low mid 60s in New York City. Yeah. And then here's what's probably going to happen. You're probably going to have... You might have a tiny bit of snow in New York City. It doesn't look like much. So there's a potential for an East Coast storm. I wouldn't call it a nor'easter. But it looks like an inland runner, what I would call an inland runner. Basically form along the south coast and just run a little bit inland. So not a true nor'easter. For this to be a nor'easter, this system would have to be about here. And all of this would have to be snow in New York. Or at least the storm has to be off of Long Island, like here. Like, even if it transitions to a northeast wind, then it's a nor'easter. But this does not look like a nor'easter whatsoever. I mean, I do think the low will pass just east of New York City, as this will probably end up, yeah. Yeah, very sharp cold front. Bam. So it is going to be moving pretty fast, though. Trying to see where. So right over Delmarva, right? So it looks like. Yep, probably going to be over Connecticut somewhere. Yep. Or upstate New York, yeah. Very heavy rain in New York City this time. Yeah, not a nor'easter. Yeah, looks like some thunderstorms in New York City. Look at that. But then right behind there, temperatures are just going to go, whoop. You're going to have teens. Look at that. All right. 5 more minutes and I'm going to bed. So I gotta get up like 7:30 in the morning. Or yeah, looks like the GFS, the Euro is running well ahead of the GFS. And I really hope this system is going to go further south. So we're going to get a good Arctic outbreak, and then this storm could, you know, I want to see a good snowstorm around December 6th or 7th. Probably going to be somewhere over Maine or southern Quebec. Yep. Basically southern Quebec, yeah. Parts of Ontario. And then boom, Arctic outbreak right in New York. And right, so it looks like Buffalo's gonna get slammed. Yeah. Yeah, it looks like parts of upstate New York are just gonna get slammed. I mean, yeah. Oh, man, I should be in Buffalo for this. Damn. Whew. Damn, if I'm going to be in Buffalo for this, I'm going to get slammed. Total snowfall. Of course, New York City almost gets nothing. Oh, look at that, a trace of snow. Wait. Here comes our little measly clipper system. Basically gonna give us nothing. Yeah, that nothing storm. I was supposed to get Boston all that snow, and I was even planning to go to Boston, but nope. Looks like not. Yeah, I'm going to